This patient is a very old lady, 84 years old lady, and very uncooperative. And the cataract is very hard, and as the surgery moves, we will see that the there is leathery posterior plate, and it was very difficult to manage the nucleus in this case.
আর নিঃশ্বাস নিতে পারতেন নাকে বলতে সরিয়ে দাও
নাকের মধ্যে সরানো আছে আর কথা বলো না দিদা, তুমি কথা বলো না।
তোমার চোখ ঢাকা আছে, নাকের উপর কাপড় নেই।
তুমি কটকের কথা একটু ভাবো, ব্যাস এক্ষুনি হয়ে যাবে। নড়বে না একদম, আর কথা বলবে না, একদম কথা বলবে না, কথা বলো না দিদা।
The patient was asking to remove the draping sheets from her face and from her nose, and my colleagues, my assistants were trying to calm the patient somehow. But the lady was repeatedly asking to remove the dripping sheets.
নিঃশ্বাস নিচ্ছ তো?
মুখ খোলা আছে,
মুখ খুলে নাও তাহলে।
নাকের
কাপড় সরিয়ে দিয়েছে, উঁচু করে দিয়েছে দুপাশ থেকে। একটু লাগবে, একটু লাগবে।
কথা বলছো, মুখ দিয়ে শ্বাস নাও।
কথা বলো না দিদা, একটু সহ্য করতে হয়।
My assistants had lifted the dripping sheets from the nose, and oxygen saturation was more than 95 all the time, and pulse rate was normal, but the patient was repeatedly asking to remove the dripping sheets. This is probably some amount of it is probably psychological, and some patients, though the oxygen saturation and everything is normal, they repeatedly ask to remove the dripping sheets. Somehow we have to complete such cases. After excision and dissection, the phacoemulsification is introduced, some superficial cortical lens matter is removed, and in this case I tried my technique submarine chop, but I could not divide the nucleus completely into separate pieces, into free pieces.
হ্যাঁ এক্ষুনি সরিয়ে নেব, আর 2 মিনিট।
Technique.
এখন জল দিয়ে পরিষ্কার করা হচ্ছে, একদম কথা বলো না।
মুখটা দিয়ে শ্বাস নাও, হ্যাঁ, করে শ্বাস নাও।
কথা বলবে না দিদা, সব ঠিক আছে।
So in this case I have decided to chop the nucleus into as many pieces, as many small pieces as possible, maybe about 8 to 10 pieces, and then try to emulsify each nuclear piece. The first thing is I have to get a free piece, and for that I came out, injected visco, took 2 hooks. In the left hand is my chopper, Mohantas chopper, and the right hand is a Sinski hook. Mohantas chopper is just a modified Sinski hook. And now I'm trying to get this smaller heminucleus, putting it, and then we could manually divide the 2 pieces, separate the 2 pieces.
একটু নাকি করতে খাবো
না
আরেকটু,
না আছে
আরেকটু।
এক্ষুনি সরিয়ে দেবো, কথা বলবে না দিদা।
আর একটু
ব্যাস হয়ে গেছে।
শুয়ে আছো তুমি, আর একটু শুয়ে দাও।
হয়ে গেছে, একটু একটু পরেই সরিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে, দাঁড়াও।
অর্ধেক হলো, চেঞ্জ করবো।
হয়ে যাবে স্যার। বেরিয়ে আসুন স্যার।
বেশি আর কি দরকার, পিপল ছোট হয়ে যাচ্ছে।
Though the patient was not able to cooperate well, I kept my calmness and I tried to do the case without getting affected by the uncooperation of the patient. And this is the last nuclear piece. The phacoemulsification goes in, and this large piece is held, and then it is being emulsified. And at this time I ask my assistants to go to Phaco 3 mode, and so that the vacuum is not very high and I can manage the case. Little bit of cortex is being removed by the Phaco handpiece itself. Then I come out, inject visco, and clean the cortex by this 23 gauge Simcoe cannula. The Simcoe cannula is a very gentle instrument, not at all expensive instrument, but we can do a nice cleaning with this instrument. The side port is little larger, about 1.6 or 1.7 millimeter, but we need only one side port. And if we make this side port about 180 degree or about 90 degree away from the main wound, then astigmatism induced by the main wound is neutralized to some extent by this large side port. The main wound is enlarged little bit because I am using a B cartridge, and then
আমার নিঃশ্বাস নিতে পারছি না, নাকে পরে কাপড়টা সরিয়ে দাও।
মুখ দিয়ে কথা বলছো, মুখ দিয়ে শ্বাস নাও না কেন? মুখ দিয়ে শ্বাস না, তো হয়ে গেছে। আর 1 মিনিট।
removal of the draping sheets. The lens is in the capsular bag, and now our job is to clean the visco from the antechamber and conclude the case. The main aim of showing this case is sometimes the patients are very uncooperative, and sometimes we know that the patient's health is okay but still not cooperating. In those cases we have to remain calm and composed, and we have to raise our skills more than the problems. If we can do that, then we can manage the case easily. And all the assistants are there to help us. In such cases where the patient is repeatedly asking to remove the draping sheets, we can ask 2 assistants to stand on either side of the operation table and lift off the draping sheet from the body part, so that more air goes to the nose and the dripping sheet doesn't touch the nose. I've done many cases in that way, and we can get cooperation of patient when the cloth doesn't touch the nose. As soon as the dripping sheet touches the nose, they think that there is suffocation. And here we conclude the case. Thank you very much for your attention. Hope this video will help you in developing your stamina, your calmness, your other skills that is required to manage such cases.